Board will meet in regular session on Tuesday, July 10th, 2018 at 9 a.m. in the courthouse meeting room 1, northeast corner, 3rd floor, with 3 members present. We've had a loss in the community. Dave, would you want to?
Before we get going this morning, if we could have a moment of silence. We lost a very good friend, Steve Sincox, the current head of the Marshalltown Waterworks, passed away. Had the pleasure of working with Steve for many, many years on numerous boards. He's been an integral part of the waterworks for the city of Marshalltown and will be sorely missed. He's a good friend. Moment of silence, please.
Thank you, David. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Notice the public, Board of Supervisors welcomes comments from the public. During the time allowed for discussion, you're requested to approach the microphone, state your name for the record, and limit the time used to present your remarks in order that others may be given an opportunity to speak. The normal process on any agenda item is for the chairperson to read the item from the agenda. The board is given an opportunity to comment on the issue and or place a motion on the floor. An opportunity for the discussion may be presented, at which time the public may participate and a roll call vote will follow. Beginning then with item number 1, approval or amendment of agenda. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, the item has been approved. Moving on then to the consent agenda. And this is to approve minutes from regular session of June 26, 2018 with correction to a personnel action rate of pay for Eric Devick. Number 3 is annual manure management plan update, PLA LLC Nick Ritlin, ID number 63758, annual update report received and placed on file with no changes to manure management plan. Item number 4 is the annual publication of salaries in accordance with section 349.18 Code of Iowa, the salary listing for fiscal year 2017-2018. These are all listed before you, at which time I'm not going to read.
Mr. Chair, I would motion that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
And I will second.
And is there any further discussion? Not, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay. Item's been approved. Then, let's see, moving on then to item number 5 is approved claims. Approved claims is audited and authorized the county auditor recorder to issue payment. Now, that's part of that.
That was part of the consent.
Okay. And moving on then to item number 6. As counted by the Treasurer's Office, the Sheriff's Office, Veterans Office, Affairs Office, and the Auditor Recorder's Office, June 30th, 2018. The chair would entertain a motion for item number 6.
Mr. Chair, I would motion that we accept the results of the cash count conducted on Friday, June 30th, 2018.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, item has been approved. Moving on then to item number 7, submitted to local authority, application for a Class C liquor license, LC, commercial with outdoor service. Discussion and possible action to approve a Class C liquor license with outdoor service application from Mike Mott and Audrey Lamp, is it this Lamp or Lampy?
Lampy.
LLC, Iowa Beer Business and Sassy Slishy, located at 3231 Hart Avenue, Melbourne, Iowa, to sell liquor during RAGBRAI, effective 7/22/18 to 7/27/18. The chair would entertain a motion.
I think it was Sassy Slushy.
What did I miss?
You said Sassy Slishy?
Slishy? I left an L out? Okay, thank
It's a
you.
slissy slushy.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank
yes, it
you.
was. All right.
the chair entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to approve this request from Mike Mott and Audrey Lampy, LLC, to sell liquor during RAGBRAI events effective 7/22/18 to 7/27/18 at 3231 Hart Avenue, Melbourne, Iowa.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion, questions? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Okay, item number 7's been approved. Item number 8, moving on then to discussion and possible action concerning ordinance 33 and ordinance designating the Marshall County Pickering Heart of Iowa Co-op urban revitalization area in the county of Marshall, Iowa. I'd like to discuss this a little bit first, so this isn't quite according to the roll call or to the normal procedure, but anyone want to start it out, or?
Well, we originally started looking at this when we were approached by Pickering about doing a very large expansion to their grain storage facilities. And a number of years ago, I believe it was about 10, they had an application in for a revitalization area where they received 3 years abatement on the improvements, not the total amount of their property taxes, but only on the improvements. I believe they're going to request that again. And at our previous meeting when this came up for discussion, we also had Mr. Nelson from the Nelson Grain Storage on the corner of
Which is
330
a
and
privately
30.
owned corporation.
Yep, he's privately owned. Brought up the point, well, would this apply to him also? I believe at that time we either tabled it or did not take it any farther because we needed to look into it. I've talked to a lot of people since then. I'm not getting a lot of support for this, and I think, Steve, you may have heard some of that also.
I did. I found the same thing. The only thing that might make it popular in the county is if we were to offer the same thing to Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Also, Mid-Iowa Co-op, they have at least 3 facilities in Marshall County. We need to be careful about picking or choosing favorites in a situation like this.
Exactly. It's not government's job to pick the winners and losers. You know, it's our job to create an environment where everybody can win.
My concern too is that this, if we change it so that it's not just Pickering and it's everybody in there, then what if someone wants to build a building and then work with trucks and truck engines and so on? Is this then part of this too?
Exactly.
This can get big.
We might get on an extremely slippery slope here.
It's very possible, yes. And it's, right now, like we found, it's not a very popular thing in the
Not
country.
at all. My first assessment of it was somewhat positive. And since then, the amount of negative feedback that I've received from many, many areas have not been good.
Well, I could just see this thing expanding and expanding. And then we're gonna have farmers who are not considered by the Iowa Code to be commercial.
Right.
And if we, then they say, well, why can't my dairy operation be this part of, or why can't, on and on. This could get beyond what we can handle.
Where do you draw the boundaries?
Yes.
The lines?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have that answer.
I'm sure farmers don't want to lose their farming description on their business. If they're all made commercial, then their insurance changes, their taxes change. This was done for a reason many, many years ago, and if we allow this to be opened up, this could be a problem.
Right now, there's a massive grain storage expansion going on in Grundy County. I don't believe, I don't have the answer whether they were getting any incentives or not.
The last I knew, they hadn't asked for any incentives yet, but that was 3 or 4 weeks ago when I was
And
talking.
it was about the same amount of additional
Yes.
storage as this is.
Yeah. Now, towns have done this. I think Liscum gave Mid-Iowa a tax abatement, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I don't know
Did
for a
you
fact.
know?
No, I
Okay.
don't.
Yes, so I guess I'll recant that. I don't know that for sure.
And it's much easier for a town to do it as an incorporated entity than the county. You know, they've got such a concentrated area. When we open it up, you may be really opening up floodgates.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it couldn't be controlled, but I am saying if we're gonna go down this road, we need to really be careful and think it through, all the different aspects, so that we don't get on that slippery slope.
Steve, what would you like to have us do?
Do we need to gather more information before we make any kind of decision?
I would, and I'd specifically like to know what they're doing up in Grundy County, whether that storage facility is in the county or whether it's in the unincorporated areas. I'd like to ask them what they've done, if they do have a policy.
I mean, what Mid-Iowa is doing
Right.
north on, up by Holland.
Yep. Is it right in the city of Holland or outside?
No,
Okay.
no, it's out in the middle. It's just at the Holland turnoff,
Okay.
or thereabouts.
You know, I don't reinvent the wheel if we don't have to, but at the same time, I'd like to approach this really slow. And the way I understood it is, even if we approach this very slowly, these revitalization zones, they can even apply for something they've done previously. So I don't believe that time is of the essence here.
Pickering is already well on their way with their project. The concrete work is virtually done, from what I'm told,
Okay.
so,
So in
Yeah.
other words, they're gonna do this whether we give them an incentive or not.
yeah. Unless they pare back the project a little bit in some way.
Is this in Hardin or Grundy that you're going to do the research in?
Grundy.
Grundy County, okay.
Well, and then we could check Story County too, because they, when Roland, is it Heart of Iowa over there?
It's Key
It's
Co-op
It's
now.
Key. They went out in the country. They put up a big operation, east and a little south of Roland.
In Story County?
Yes, just off of E18. And I don't know what they did.
There's also 2 major facilities being built in Tama County right now too. Traer and Lincoln.
Are they out in the country too?
They're in town yet.
They're in town, okay. Well, Wellsburg's putting one up. Isn't there one going up in Wellsburg?
Is there? Not aware of that.
Nah, I can't remember, maybe I'm mixed up.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
I want to check Tama County because Mid-Iowa Co-op has put a huge facility on the corner of E29 and Highway 63.
That one's done, isn't
There.
it?
Yeah, that one's done, but did they do anything for them or not? I don't know.
It's a good question.
Yeah. That was put up, what, about 3 years ago?
something like that. Or
And you know, we've got excellent relationships with both Story, Tama, Hardin County with those supervisors.
They'll share it
It's
with us.
just a simple phone call and see what they want to do.
I would make a motion that we table this until our next meeting.
Okay.
Second?
I will second that.
Do you wanna come up at our second meeting, our next meeting?
I would. I
Okay.
think we can.
Because when we table something, we can just table it, or we can table it to come up off the table at any particular time, and you said at our next meeting.
We'll have all the information we need maybe to make
Okay.
this decision in the next meeting.
Good enough.
And I'll volunteer to call one of those two counties. I sit on juvenile detention board with both of these counties and know the supervisors very well. If you guys want to take one, I'll take the other one and call and see what they want.
I'll contact Story.
Okay. I'll
You wanna contact,
Tama.
Tama?
I'll do Tama.
okay.
you wanna do Grundy?
I'll check on Grundy.
Okay. Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Solosek.
Yes.
Okay. The action's been approved to table this motion, and we're really not tabling the motion, we're tabling the idea here until our next meeting. Going on then to item number 9. This is Marshall County, Iowa road vacation fees. Discussion and possible action to approve payment of expenses by the county engineer with all future road vacations. Vacation is when the road is done away with. Sometimes I say closed, and I don't mean to say
Yes,
closed.
yes, you want to say vacation, and that's basically the vacating of our easement to maintain a roadway on that property. You guys put this on agenda, so I can take questions, or do you want me to kind of explain what I
I'd like
proposed?
to hear your take and your
Okay.
proposal on this.
When I get a petition to vacate a roadway, that's what usually starts the process, and I get the petition presented to you guys, and you accept it, and then we start the process of having the hearings to find out if it's something that we can do, if it's something that is, obviously, we don't want to entertain vacations that are damaging to the road system or that aren't going to help what we're trying to accomplish. But most of the vacations that we get petitions on are either level B roads, level C roads, or dead ends, or a combination of two of those factors. And those roads are essentially land access roads, and vacating that right of way is just it just benefits our system and our maintenance strategies, because it just becomes a private drive essentially, and that's really what these roads are for the most part. Your level B and C maintenance are the dirt roads. They are not kept open in the wintertime. They are rarely graded with a motor grader. They're just basically enough to keep them open. And if there's ever any problems with flash flooding and maintenance needs, they are the very last things that get fixed. So it's one of those deals where I don't have a problem as a department if a landowner wants to vacate right away in level B, C, or dead ends if we cover those costs. It ends up being anywhere between, in my experience, $150 to $300, depending on how many different parcels there were and how many different landowners there are. Sometimes it gets a little difficult when you're dividing up the cost between multiple landowners. If one landowner owned 80% of the frontage that's being vacated, the other landowner that owned the other 20%, in history, they pay the same amount to get the vacation done. But usually the vacation is just at the request of the landowner that has the most, effect from it.
Now, from what I understand, is the vacation costs, first of all, would be when we do a hearing in the paper.
We have to advertise the hearing.
We have to advertise that, and then we have to send out registered letters to the landowners, also to any company who may have underground lines or pipes or something. going
Any
through
utility
there.
easement, yes.
So that's really our only cost. But I think one time we were up as high as $500.
And it has to do with how many utilities you would have, how many landowners are involved.
Yes.
And what am I trying to say? But it can be several $100s if depending on how large of a vacation you're doing. Usually we're doing a mile, we're doing a half mile,
Yeah.
or, you know.
We were talking on the phone the other day, because I had given Dave a figure out of my head, and it was out of my head, it was wrong. The right-of-way is 66 feet.
Regular, as
whole
originally
road.
established, usually it's 66 feet.
Now, lots of times, this old road, they're already farming close to that. If this road isn't being, at least in our situation, that we just vacated up by me.
Right,
So, but there's 66 feet that we're not getting property taxes on. If we vacate the road, then we have 66 feet. 66 feet times a mile, this last one we did, is 348,480 square feet, which is 8 acres. Our land up there is somewhere around $28 an acre property tax. That's $244 for that mile. So in 1 to 2 years, 3 years at the most, that property tax pays for the expenses. If we pay the property tax.
yes.
I mean, if we pay the costs. So,
Yeah, but your $28 figure is for all the property taxes on that acreage, not just the county's portion. That's the school system, the trustees, and everything else.
true. So take,
So we're gonna
yeah,
have to multiply that out by about 8 or 9 years, but your return on investment is still pretty good. And what do you gain cost-wise not having to do anything?
That's really all they are, is they cost us time and hours, and they're usually they're a liability just because that's where people take fridges and tires and, you know, large appliances of other nature, and we pick that stuff up. We pay the landfill. You know, my department pays over $3,000 a year just to dispose of tires in the landfill. It's not our tires, it's somebody else's tires.
Yeah, yeah. There's where the return on investment is, right there.
so then there's a liability aspect too. How does that work in,
Well-
if we still have an old road there?
No, because it actually becomes private property.
No, if we don't vacate
If
it.
we don't vacate it, that's actually what brought on one of the recent vacations too, was one where the landowner didn't want people coming back to this property and just disposing of trash and you know, that now they can take that because of the vacation, they can put a gate up.
Yeah.
They can still get back there if they want to, bad enough, but they're gonna have to trespass to get back there.
Any further questions here?
No.
Dave?
So your recommendation would be that we pay the vacation fees as an incentive to get this out
If-
of our system?
If we're gonna make it a policy, I guess I would like to see it worded as any vacation that, you know, we can wordsmith it, but if it's something that is beneficial to the road system of Marshall County, to not, you know, there's certain roads that it just wouldn't make any sense to consider vacation on, even if, you know, it would be tempting. There's roads that are just, they have the traffic count, and they serve entire areas of the county that if someone submitted a proposal for that vacation, it probably wouldn't get past the petition stage because it wouldn't be one that we would want to participate in. But
Yeah, we had one like that a couple of years ago.
Yes.
We
yeah,
discussed it.
and if we have one that in the hearing process, the only possible cost we would have where it would never be vacated is we pay for the hearing advertisement. The hearing happens and people are like, no, I use that road. Well, then we basically would say we're gonna just end this here then, because we don't want to vacate a road that other people other than the adjoining landowners use. And that's what happened with the one out just southeast of town.
Out off of Three Bridges.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's gonna be, that's a minimal cost, but the, as far as any vacation that is gonna be beneficial to the county and our road system, I would be more than happy to pay that cost out of my budget as far as the advertising fees and the registered letter fees, because we're paying for it up front anyway. And then the landowners have to reimburse us. There's not really anything that we issue. If we just have an easement on their property, we don't issue a quit claim deed or anything. The only time we'd issue a quit claim deed would be as if we had title to the right of way, which is more common in state right of way than it is on county right of way. We don't own most of our road right of way. If we did own it, then we would have to issue a quit claim deed to give them the ground back.
No, they own the center line.
That's what there's two different ways. There's two different ways we can own it. Some of the easements that we have, we don't have a piece of paper anywhere that says we have that easement. It's just prescription easement because there's always been a road there. We have this easement. But we couldn't produce anything to prove that we have the easement. You know?
So you would recommend that we not have quick claim deed
No, it's
involved in that?
I was just saying that because it's just in the past, we've tried to do quit claim deeds on ground that we really didn't have to do it because we didn't own it. We can't quit claim deed something that we don't own.
Mm-hmm. What we have here as a possible motion is payment of recording documents, mailings, publications, and quick claim deed fees by the county engineer with all future road vacations. Is that in your estimation a proper motion that would cover it correctly for your
Yes.
feelings?
Yes, because if we get the petition and it's not something we want to move forward with, none of the costs happen.
Okay. Are there any further questions or
No.
comments?
If this gets approved, it'll be that 150 to 300 you had mentioned as far as just fees to the county if the county.
It ends up being in that range of 150 to what you said, possibly even 500 we've had in past years.
Well,
That's
one-
been the high side.
Yeah, this last one we had actually had two vacations, and we put them together. That's how that got to be.
Yeah.
More people and stuff.
There is quite a few miles of road, and I don't have a tally on it, but we've got road that is established, it's got easement, and there's no road. I found one it's a piece of road that you can't get to with another public road, and it shouldn't be there anymore, but we need, and I would pursue vacation on that, because we could actually make contact with landowner and say, there's a piece of easement out here in the middle of your field, and it's not gonna cost you anything to get this cleaned up and get it off your abstract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right now, there would be no reason for them to do it, because why would I go pay $200 so I could get this cleaned up when I'm farming it today anyway and nobody can get to it?
And if there's any utility easements, they go with it, even
Yes,
if we
they-
vacate it anyway.
If we vacate a road easement, all utility easements stay in force just as they were before.
Okay.
Well, the chair to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would motion that we approve payment of recording documents, mailings, publications, and quitclaim deeds by the county engineer with all future road vacations. But I would like to add to that would be pending a document produced by the county engineer for final approval.
And I'll second that.
What was your amendment again? Road vacation.
Pending a document provided by the county engineer that we approve the payment of recording documents, mailings, publications, and quitclaim deeds paid by the county engineer with all future vacations. But this approval would be pending of a document produced by Paul.
Some sort of form where he's approving their
Exactly.
request.
Yep. I'd like to see that before we
Okay.
finalize this. Dot the i's and cross the t's and let's make sure we don't miss anything.
Okay, Steve, did you second that?
I did
Or
second
you?
that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. Any further discussions? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, this item's been approved. Item number 10 is the Sheriff's Department extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Albion for law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on an extension to a 2080 agreement between Marshall County, City of Albion for law enforcement protection within the corporate limits of the City of Albion. The agreement is effective July 1, 2018, June 30th, 2019. And the City of Albion agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $11,940. The chair would entertain a motion.
Steve, do you want to speak to this at all? Not at all.
Have any of the fees changed, or is it still pretty much $50 per water meter and $300 per liquor license?
Correct. Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Albion, effective July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. The City of Albion agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $11,940.
Mr. Chairman, I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 10's been approved. Item number 11, Sheriff's Department extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Clemens for law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on extension agreement regarding the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Clemens for the law enforcement protection within the corporation limits of the City of Clemens. The agreement is effective July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. The City of Clemens agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $3,300. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I motion that we approve the extension to the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Clemens, effective July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. The City of Clemens agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $3,300.
And I'll second.
Then moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, item number 11 has been approved. Item number 12, Sheriff's Department extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Gilman for law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on the extension agreement regarding the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Gilman for law enforcement protection within the corporate limits of the City of Gilman. The agreement is effective July 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. City of Gilman agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $12,900. Is there a...
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Gilman, effective July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. The City of Gilman agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $12,900.
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Not, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, item number 12 has been approved. Item number 13, Sheriff's Department extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of LeGrand for law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on the extension agreement regarding the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of LeGrand for law enforcement protection within the corporate limits of the City of LeGrand. Agreement is effective July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. The City of LeGrand agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $23,580. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I motion that we approve the extension to the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of LeGrand, effective July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. The City of LeGrand agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $23,580.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, item number 13 has been approved. Item number 14, Sheriff's Department extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the City of Liscum for law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on the extension agreement regarding the 2080 agreement between Marshall County in the city of Liscum for the law enforcement protection within the corporate limits of the city of LeGrand, or Liscum, pardon me. The agreement is effective July 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. The city of Liscum agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $7,320. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the extension to 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the city of Liscum effective July 1st, 2018, June 30th, 2019. The city of Liscum agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $7,320.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosek.
Yes.
Okay, item number 14 has been approved. Item number 15, Sheriff's Department extension to 28E agreement between Marshall County and the city of Laurel for the law enforcement protection. Discussion and possible action on the extension agreement regarding the 28E agreement between Marshall County and the city of Laurel for the law enforcement protection within the corporate limits of the city of Laurel. The agreement is effective July 1, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. City of Laurel agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $6,480. The chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I motion that we approve the 2080 agreement between Marshall County and the city of Laurel, effective July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. The city of Laurel agrees to pay Marshall County the sum of $6,480.
Second?
Yes, I second.
Moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosek.
Yes.
Okay, item number 15 has been approved. Item number 16, the Iowa JAG program grant number 16, JAG 250647, acknowledgement receipt of JAG grant award notice for the Iowa Burn Justice Assistance Grant Program. The federal award is $82,926 with a match of $27,641 coming from the individual department budget line items. This grant period is for July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. The chair would entertain a motion.
Could I have a bit of an explanation on this? I haven't been here.
This would be the funds that go to support our Mid-Iowa Drug Task Force. Okay. We're the host agency for that grant.
It comes in and we split it out between Marshall County and the other partners that work with us on the drug force. It's an annual thing.
I see, okay.
Why don't you tell us some of the things we've used that money for these last few years, because that gets pretty interesting, if we can say it.
Yeah. This particular money goes toward wages and benefits.
Yeah.
Some forfeiture money that we would have used otherwise would be used to enhance our equipment and intelligence operations with the task force. This specific money is earmarked towards our human resources.
Great.
Okay, any further questions? If not, the chair entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I motion that we approve this award notice from the Iowa Burn Justice Assistance Grant Program.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Are there any further questions? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosek.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 16 has been approved. Moving on then to item number 17. This is a resolution 2018-0043 FY18. This is a lease purchase agreement amendment. We did this at our last meeting, and we left off one, and so this is just to catch up and get that corrected. Chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to adopt resolution number 2018-0043 FY18 lease purchase agreement amendment.
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or Discussion.
Do we know the split? I know it says 120, no more than $120 for all four, right?
$120,000, right.
For all four. Do we know the split on this vehicle? Or-
Steve, do you know? I didn't bring those in with me.
Off the top of my head, I want to say 27,000.
I was gonna say 26, 27.
About 27,000.
Any further discussion? Any questions?
I do, Steve. This is, this gives us the option to lease or purchase. I guess I don't understand completely.
Dave, would you like to explain, or?
I can.
Go ahead, please, go ahead.
It's a budget. This is the last time that we will be doing lease purchases. When we went through our budget this year, our budgeted items for this coming fiscal year will be strictly purchased. This is out of last year's
Okay, this
budget
is-
item, so
okay.
this is the last of the lease purchase items that we will be doing. The reason we had done them in previous years to lease purchase is it allows us to use all the TIF valuations within the city of Marshalltown, because the one thing that when the city TIFs properties that they cannot withhold any of the other governmental bodies from is debt service. That was our reasoning for using lease purchases before, and quite frankly, some of our bonding issues, but with us getting to the position where we're debt-free, it doesn't make sense. When we pay for the vehicles rather than lease them, we save approximately 7.5%, because you don't have interest expense, you don't have the leasing fees, you don't have any of the other issues involved. So this is the last time we'll do this, unless future boards choose to go back and pay for their things that way, but it's not economically feasible to do it that way.
It's kind of an odd matter of timing that we're dealing with this now, but these vehicles in particular, I believe, were ordered in February, and then we received them here in early June, and then this is just the catch-up on the paperwork. So the next order that'll come through will be vehicles purchased directly out of my budget that you appropriated from this past
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Okay, item number 17, resolution's been adopted. Moving on then to 18, request the use of courthouse grounds as a part of a statewide event going on with all counties in Iowa. Mike and Sherry Nelson request the use of courthouse grounds for a 1-hour prayer event that reads a small amount of assigned chapters of the Bible. The entire Bible will be read across the state in a matter of approximately 1 hour on Saturday, July 14th, 2018, beginning at 7:14 a.m. Anything else you would like to say? That's it. Okay.
It's just a short event. It's 7:14 is the date, 7:14 is the time, and it's based on 2 Chronicles 7:14 in Scripture. So it's just a special event, and we have the whole state involved, so.
Okay.
Will this be pretty much what you've done before, where you just set up a tent or lawn chairs
Setting
about?
up anything, it's just a short amount. We only have 12 chapters assigned for our county. Each county in the whole state is assigned approximately 12 chapters to read all at the same time. So it's just a very short thing.
So you won't need electricity or any other services?
Nope.
Okay.
We will probably be there less than an hour.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
You're off the hook, Lucas.
Wish they were all that easy.
Dan mentioned it this morning on WHO.
Well, thank you too for all your support for the marathon that we just accomplished. That's wonderful. You all have been just amazing with that. And Mr. Thompson, you stopped by on Saturday and checked in on us, and that was wonderful. Oh.
Thank you.
Did it go as we were hoping? Did it go as we were hoping it would?
Yes,
If
it was.
things
We
were
let the heat. We
kept
had a lot of
separate,
figures
yeah.
and it
Okay.
worked out well, so.
The chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would motion we approve the request from Sherry and Mike Nelson for use of the courthouse grounds for a 1-hour prayer event that reads a small amount of assigned chapters of the Bible on Saturday, July 14th, 2018 at 7:14 a.m.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further questions or comments? If not, roll call vote, please.
Patton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Solosik?
Yes.
Okay, item number 18 has been approved. Moving on then to item number 19, this is Resolution 2018-0044, Secondary Road Project Funding Agreement with the Iowa DOT. Discussion and possible action on an agreement with the Iowa DOT titled Federal Aid Agreement for County Highway Bridge Program Project. Project number BROS-CO64 128 FE64. I assume that's all legal jargon. We don't have to get on that.
It's funding and it's what county it's in and the project number, but actually parent 128 is really what it, is the project number. But this just deals with the funding that we are using for the River Bridge, for the big one that's out there on North Center Street. And this deals with it. There's a couple of oddball things in here. Number one, it's where they're talking about swap funding, and this is kind of a new thing with the DOT. But what's going on with that is that because the DOT was already following all the federal rules and guidelines for every project they did, on county projects and city projects, the federal guidelines actually make things more complicated, a little more costly. So they agreed that the state would take all the federal money, and then we would just take it as essentially with FM rules in mind. We still have to meet all the federal laws. This doesn't get us out of dealing. We still have to follow ADA and everything else that's federal law. But as far as the federal guidelines for the administration and contracts and the accounting side of it, we're just following the state farm to market rules, which are a little bit less restrictive. So this just kind of irons that out and says that we're the recipient on this swap funding from the DOT. You'll notice that there isn't any mention of the city of Marshalltown in here, and that's only because the city of Marshalltown will also have an agreement like this for the same project with the DOT. So essentially we're making an agreement with the city of Marshalltown with the DOT kind of being the middleman. We're both agreeing with the DOT that here's how this is going to happen, and this is how the funding is going to go. Marshall County is going to be the lead on the project. We've taken care of the design, and we would be the contracting authority when it gets let to contract. So as I understand it, the city will be involved with the DOT with their own agreement at a later date.
Now, can you explain why the city is involved so everybody understands? Because this is actually in the county land.
It's in the county land, but the bridge touches the city limits. The south bank of the Iowa River at that place is actually in the city of Marshalltown. And so as long as the bridge is in contact, it's a joint project. It ends up being, and the funding that we were able to secure for it is city bridge money. That it has to be in contact with the city limits in order to be eligible for this funding. But the agreements will basically line out how the money will pipeline around and get to where we still use it on the project, and we're the ones as the contracting authority, but it's still the city's project as well.
Okay.
That was our $1 million grant that we received in conjunction with the city. When you put that with farm to market and our federal bridge money and local option sales tax money, we're gonna come pretty darn close to absolutely no effect on the property taxpayer whatsoever.
That's our goal, and the BROS money is what we are also going to utilize on the second bridge. It's the off system stuff that the bridges that are not on the federal aid system, but they can still have that federal swap money in there.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Do we know the approximate cost? I mean, it sounds like there are a lot of funding sources, but do we know the approximate cost of the project yet?
Our current estimation on the River Bridge project is 1.6 million, and this does say 1.5 million, but it was just a prior estimate.
Okay.
And then there's about 800,000 on the little bridge to the north of that.
On the overflow bridge, yes.
So there's actually going to be two bridges in this whole project. Okay, any other questions?
No.
Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to adopt resolution number 2018-0044, an agreement between Marshall County, Iowa and the DOT, authorizing the chairman to sign the agreements.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Not? Roll call vote, please.
Patton,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Solosik.
Yes.
Okay, the item has been approved, resolution's been adopted. Moving on then to item number 20, public forum. Is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of the county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in the public forum. Anyone? Come forth, sir. Name and address for the records. No, we don't want that.
We don't want that.
We'll protect your identity.
Harold Lanning, 1994 Vine Avenue, Marshalltown. I got a comment at the last meeting about, and I don't understand the whole thing, the 911 commission and so forth, but the part that I did understand is that Marshall County will be the, take care of the funding, or not the funding, but do the books, or so to speak, or whatever, and so forth. So for that, I'm very thankful, because it's obvious to me that the city fathers in this town are not capable of doing that, because they don't have control of their financing and so forth as well as you people do. You've done an outstanding job in taking care of the things that need to be taken care of, such as just taking care of new vehicles for the sheriff's department. You're concerned about taking care of Green Mountain and getting that sewer system up and going and so forth, taking care of the road department and getting them the necessary equipment, taking care of the courthouse and keeping it up and so forth. And I just got to say, I couldn't come up here without having to say it. You are more concerned about doing what the taxpayers expect you to do than worrying about a slab of concrete that the raccoons and the deer can play on. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Harold.
Harold. Any further discussion?
Nan Benson, and I want to just let the public know that we are going to be closing the Auditor Recorder's Office July 23rd, which is a Monday afternoon from 1 to 4:30. Just the north side. All of our services will be available on the south side, but there would be delays getting, if somebody comes in for a marriage license or something, they would not be able to get it until the next day. But we're going to let them fill out all their paperwork and get almost everything done. I have learned that other counties, that's how they always do it. Nobody gets their paperwork. They don't get their birth certificate that day. They fill out their paperwork and come back later. So we've got DevNet coming in for meetings, and we need our staff to be able to focus. Maria Vargas Gonzalez, who works on our south side, previously worked on the north side, so has some training, but because of segregation of duty of passports and vitals, she cannot take care of vitals, but she can handle the DNR functions. If somebody's in dire need and it's an emergency, she will come pull one of the staff and we will get them taken care of. So if it is truly an emergency, we'll get it taken care of.
So you said DevNet is coming in, that's related to the
That's our computer.
program.
That's our computer program that handles all of the real estate for the county, and we're working on doing some updating and things. They were supposed to come in June, and it ended up not working, so he's going to be here. So we're going to close the office for just a few hours, not the whole time he's here, but just a few hours for my staff to really focus on what we need during that time. So, but we should be able to offer all services and hopefully not be too much of an inconvenience.
Okay. Any other questions? Comments, rather? If not, we're going to move on then to item number 21, adjournment, the next regular session for July 24, 2018 at 9 a.m. All businesses to be acted upon at that session be submitted to the recorder office or the Board of Supervisors office by Thursday, July 19, 2018 at 1 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned at 9:55. Thank you for coming.